All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 7th edition of Sinha Dialogue today. 4-day Naval Commanders Conference begins today in New Delhi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to address the event. Union Agriculture Ministry to launch Kisan Bhagidari Prathmikta Hamari campaign from today. BJP sweeps Guwahati Municipal Corporation polls in Assam. Emmanuel Macron beats Marine Le Pen to secure second consecutive term as French president. Khelo India University Games get off to a grand start in Bengaluru. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says holistic approach and 100% dedication are key requirements for success in sports. Weightlifter Govind Sunil Mahajan wins gold and Uday Anil Mahajan bags silver at Khelo India University Games. And in IPL cricket, Lucknow Super Giants beat Mumbai Indians by 36 runs. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. Coming to our 73rd question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English, a small village in Orissa became popular as Sangrami Tirath after 32 freedom fighters of the village captured a British court at Sambalpur in 1942 as a part of the Quit India movement. Name the village. I repeat the question. A small village in Orissa became popular as Sangrami Tirath after 32 freedom fighters of the village captured a British court at Sambalpur in 1942 as a part of the Quit India movement. Name the village. Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 88265 46262. I repeat, 88265 46262, or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 7th edition of Sinha Dialogue in New Delhi today. President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, will be the chief guest in the dialogue. Several former prime ministers of different countries and other dignitaries will also participate in the event. The 3-day dialogue is based on the theme, Terra Nova, Impassioned, Impatient, Imperiled. There are 6 broad thematic pillars of the dialogue, including rethinking democracy, end of multilateralism, water caucuses, achieving green transitions. Sinha Dialogue will have around 100 sessions with over 210 speakers from 90 countries. Last year, the dialogue was held in a virtual format due to exceptional circumstances necessitated by the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, the dialogue is being held in an in-person format. The organizers have taken all necessary measures to adhere to COVID-19 health protocols to ensure safe conduct of the dialogue. More details from our correspondent.
The Sinha Dialogue is India's flagship conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics held annually since 2016. It is a multilateral conference committed to addressing the most challenging issues facing the global community. Every year, global leaders in policy, business, media and civil society are hosted in New Delhi to discuss cooperation on a wide range of pertinent international policy matters. The conference is hosted by the Observer Research Foundation in collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs. In the past 7 years, the Sinha Dialogue has grown in stature and profile to emerge as a leading global conference on international affairs. With Anand Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
The 4-day Naval Commanders Conference will begin today. The conference serves as a platform for naval commanders to discuss important maritime matters at the military strategic level, as well as interact with senior government functionaries through an institutionalized forum. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will address and interact with the naval commanders on matters pertaining to national security during the conference. It said that the chiefs of the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force will also interact with the naval commanders to address convergence of the three services via a common operational environment, as well as discuss avenues of augmenting tri-service synergy and readiness. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare is organizing the Kisan Bhagidari Prathamikta Hamari campaign from today. The campaign, which will continue till the 30th of this month, is being organized under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in association of various other ministries and departments. The Department of Agriculture, Research and Education would be organizing a Krishi Mela at each Krishi Vigyan Kendra and field exhibition on natural farming. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Tomar will launch the countrywide workshop on crop insurance organized by Common Service Centers, CSC. A national Atmanirbhar Bharat conclave of 75 selected farmers and entrepreneurs will be under the campaign.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said development and democracy are flourishing in Jammu and Kashmir after the constitutional reforms. Mr. Modi said, be it democracy or development, Jammu and Kashmir is setting a new example. He said it is a matter of great pride that democracy and development have reached the grassroots level in the Union Territory. The Prime Minister was addressing all the Gram Sabhas across the country on the occasion of National Panchayati Raj Day from Palli village in the Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir yesterday.
3 साल पहले पूरे राज्य में 5,000 करोड़ रुपया ही उनके नसीब होता था और उसमें लेह लद्दाख सब आ जाता था। लेकिन पिछले 2 साल में जो गति आई है, इस बार बजट में जिलों के पास 22,000 करोड़ रुपये सीधे सीधे पंचायतों के पास विकास के लिए दिए जा रहे हैं। इतने छोटे राज्य में ग्रास रूट लेवल की डेमोक्रेटिक सिस्टम के द्वारा विकास के काम के लिए कहां 5,000 करोड़ और कहां 22,000 करोड़ रुपये ये काम हुआ है भाइयों।
On the occasion, the Prime Minister also inaugurated and laid the foundation stones of several development projects worth over 20,000 crore rupees in Jammu and Kashmir. The Prime Minister said these projects will enhance development of Jammu and Kashmir. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stones for the 850 megawatt Ratle hydroelectric project and 540 megawatts Kuar hydroelectric project to be constructed on the Chenab River in the Kishtwar district. Speaking at the event, the Prime Minister congratulated the people of Jammu and Kashmir, saying Palli is on its way to become India's first carbon-neutral panchayat.
ग्लासगो में दुनिया के बड़े बड़े दिग्गज इकट्ठे हुए थे। कार्बन न्यूट्रल को लेकर के बहुत सारे भाषण हुए, बहुत सारे बयान हुए, बहुत सारी घोषणाएं हुई, लेकिन ये हिंदुस्तान है जो ग्लासगो के संकल्प को आज जम्मू कश्मीर की एक छोटी पंचायत पल्ली पंचायत के अंदर देश की पहली कार्बन न्यूट्रल पंचायत बनने की तरफ आगे बढ़ रहा है। आज मुझे पल्ली गांव में देश के गांवों के जनप्रतिनिधियों के साथ जुड़ने का भी अवसर मिला है। इस बड़ी उपलब्धि और विकास के कामों के लिए जम्मू कश्मीर को बहुत बहुत बधाई।
In Assam, BJP has swept the Guwahati Municipal Corporation GMC polls. The BJP and its ally Assam Gana Parishad won 58 seats in the 60-member corporation. While the BJP got 52 seats, Assam Gana Parishad managed to win 6 seats. Assam Jatiya Parishad AJP and AAP got 1 seat each. The opposition Congress didn't win any seat. The GMC election was held after 9 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked the Guwahatians for the mandate in favour of the BJP to build on the agenda of development. BJP National President, Union Home Minister and Assam Chief Minister also thanked people of Guwahati for their support.
India's exports of ceramics and glassware products for 2021-2022 hit a record at $3,464 million. During the fiscal year 2013 to 2014, India's ceramic and glassware products exports were valued at $1,292 million. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said that the export growth of ceramic tiles has been achieved because of a surge in shipments of ceramic tiles and sanitary ware products. Mr. Goyal said that today the Indian tile industry has become a global player and earns foreign exchange for the nation with Make in India approach. He said today India is the world's second largest manufacturer of tiles. He added that the export growth of glassware products has been achieved because of a surge in shipments of articles of glass packing of goods, made-up articles of glass fiber, sanitary fixtures of porcelain, glass mirror and tinted non-wired glass.
Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal, has asked the Paradip Port Authority in Orissa to work towards augmenting its capacity to 500 million metric tons per annum. He was reviewing various infrastructure projects and the functioning of the port in Paradip during his maiden visit to the port yesterday. More details on this from our correspondent.
On the second day of his 2 days official visit to Odisha, today the minister will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of a number of projects. While Mr. Sonowal will lay the foundation stone for the second Executive Road flyover as part of the port's road connectivity with the national highway under the Gati Shakti project, he will also inaugurate the container scanner at the port. The scanner enjoys high-performance imaging capacity with the ability to scan about 25 containers per hour. Built at a cost of more than 29 crore rupees under the government's Ease of Doing Business initiative, the container scanner will greatly add to the port's traffic management. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 7th edition of Raisina Dialogue today. 4th Naval Commanders Conference begins today in New Delhi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to address the event. Union Agriculture Ministry to launch Kisan Bhagidari Prathamikta Hamari campaign from today. BJP sweeps Guwahati Municipal Corporation polls in Assam. Emmanuel Macron beats Marine Le Pen to secure second consecutive term as French president. Khelo India University Games get off to a grand start in Bengaluru. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says holistic approach and 100% dedication are key requirements for success in sports. Weightlifter Govind Sunil Mahajan wins gold and Uday Anil Mahajan bags silver at Khelo India University Games. And in IPL cricket, Lucknow Super Giants beat Mumbai Indians by 36 runs. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है सोशियोलॉजी। सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 27 अप्रैल। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Welcome back to the morning news. Emmanuel Macron has won a second term in France's presidential election with 58.2% of the vote. Macron's far-right challenger Marine Le Pen won 41.8% of the vote in an election that saw the country's highest abstention rate in 50 years. After the polls closed across France at 8 p.m. local time, the final result will be announced by the country's Interior Ministry today. 44-year-old Macron looks set to become the first president since Chirac 2 decades ago to secure a second term in office. Congratulation wishes poured in from around the world after Macron won the French presidential election. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson tweeted his congratulations to Macron in English and French. China's capital Beijing has gone on high alert as the situation turned grim following the emergence of clusters of COVID-19. The country's financial hub, Shanghai City, reported 51 more COVID-19 deaths. Shanghai reported 2,472 local COVID-19 cases and 16,983 local asymptomatic infections. After COVID hit the capital, supermarkets in Beijing are flooded with people stocking up essentials. A report from our Beijing correspondent.
Chaoyang district, home to some 3.5 million people, has rolled out 3 rounds of nucleic acid testing for its residents starting Monday after the district registered 26 locally transmitted cases since Friday. Residents in Chaoyang are urged to take a test before going to work on Monday and reduce their social activities as much as possible. Amid the virus surge, some areas in Chaoyang with the presence of COVID-19 cases saw panic and several markets suffered a temporary shortage of fresh vegetables on Sunday. To ease the situation, Beijing's fresh food e-commerce companies immediately activated emergency response mechanism to allocate and increase the supply of groceries as directed by authorities. The total domestically transmitted COVID-19 tally in the capital surged to 42 cases involving 6 districts in total. Anshuman Mishra, AIR News, Beijing.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla highlighted the Indian diaspora as a powerful force in the country's Look East policy while addressing the Indian community and Friends of India in Singapore yesterday. Mr. Birla has said that the Indian diaspora is one of the important powerful forces of India's Look East policy, adding that the diaspora is playing the role of a catalyst to further bridge the gap among countries and to improve bilateral relationships. India's Look East policy was adopted in the early 1990s and seeks to deepen India's economic and strategic ties with Southeast Asian countries. The Look East policy was followed up by the Act East policy adopted in the 2010s. The Lok Sabha Speaker has been on an official visit to Southeast Asia since the 19th of April, leading a parliamentary delegation. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
सूरज दी कुखों जाइयां धुप्पां ने ठरना नहीं सतलुज दे पानी विचों गैरत ने मरना नहीं सतलुज दे पानी विचों ओ गैरत ने मरना नहीं.
On 25th of April 1809, the Treaty of Amritsar was signed between the British East India Company and the legendary Sikh leader Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
Maharaja Ranjit Singh proclaimed himself Maharaja of the Punjab in 1801. By 1808, he had expanded his kingdom to an area bounded by Gujarat, Ludhiana and Multan. With Ranjit Singh's plans to extend his control over Malwa on the south side of the Satluj River, the chiefs in the area appealed to the British for protection.
जंगा दे जेतू होके सिखे ए हरना नहीं सूरज दी कुखों जाइयां धुप्पां ने ठरना नहीं सतलुज दे पानी विचों गैरत ने मरना नहीं.
At the same time, the British also wanted a defensive treaty to contain Punjab to the Satluj River. Thus, the pact was concluded between Charles T. Metcalfe, representing the British East India Company, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and it settled Indo-Sikh relations for a generation.
We also remember tribal freedom fighter Sumari Munda, who was martyred on the 25th of April 1939. Sumari belonged to Gangpur state, now in Odisha.
He joined the protest against the unlawful imposition of the levy on tribal people by the Gangpur state under the leadership of tribal leader Nirmal Munda.
He also joined around 3,000 people at Simcoe ground when Nirmal Munda went to meet the Rani of Gangpur state to discuss the matter of levy on the 25th of April 1939. However, the police started firing on the peaceful protest, and in the firing Sumari Munda was killed along with many tribals. We salute the great martyrs.
We also remember martyr Chirai Naga, who was hanged for killing British officers at Mayankang, Manipur. On the 25th of April 1891, a column of Manipur troops under the leadership of Ashang Kutpolia came to Mayankang after executing 5 Britishers at Kangla. When the Manipuri troops reached Mayankang, they were informed by the villagers that 2 British officers of the Telegraph Department were staying in the Mayankang rest house. The Manipuris fired shots, killing O'Brien instantly.
However, W.B. Melville escaped with his rifle under the cover of darkness. A big search was carried out in the nearby jungle, and Chirai Naga found W.B. Melville beside a stream, and he killed him. Chirai Naga was later arrested, tried, and hanged on the 13th of October 1891 by the British. We salute the great martyr.
We also remember martyr Sajid Ali Khan, who took part in the First War of Indian Independence in 1857. A resident of Moradabad, Uttar Pradesh, Khan directed the pro-independence activities in Moradabad and provided financial support for them. He was captured by the British during their reoccupation of the Moradabad region on the 25th of April 1858 and was executed by hanging on the 27th of April 1858. We salute the great son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In a spectacular grand ceremony, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu declared the Khelo India University Games open in Bengaluru yesterday evening. More than 4,000 sportspersons from 200 universities across India are participating in the 10-day event. In his address, the Vice President laid emphasis on the sporting capabilities of Indians and their potential to perform if given proper opportunities. Speaking on the occasion, the Union Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur said that the Games provide a platform to the budding sportsmen of India. It is a vision of the Prime Minister to organize the Games in a bid to create opportunities for the sportspersons to showcase their capabilities.
We have seen the last 2 years as the years of pandemic. So I could say after 2 years, this is the first opportunity for us to hold such a prestigious and big event. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji had the vision of this Khelo India scheme, the Khelo India University Games and the Khelo India Youth Games. He wanted to give a platform to the upcoming players to showcase their talent, to showcase what they can do in the field of sport. And I've seen as far as the Khelo India Youth Games and the Khelo India University Games, in their first and second edition of the Youth Games and the first edition of University Games, there was an electrifying atmosphere.
Sharing his message at the inauguration of the Khelo India University Games, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that holistic approach and 100% dedication are the key requirements of success in sports.
खेलो इंडिया यूनिवर्सिटी गेम्स के लिए आप सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई। बेंगलुरु प्रोफेशनल्स की आन बान और शान है। स्टार्टअप्स की दुनिया में स्पोर्ट्स का ये संगम अद्भुत है। मैं कर्नाटका सरकार को इन खेलों के आयोजन के लिए बधाई देता हूं। ग्लोबल पैंडेमिक की तमाम चुनौतियों के बीच ये खेल भारत के युवाओं के दृढ़ संकल्प और जज्बे का उदाहरण है। मैं आपके इन प्रयासों को, इस हौसले को सैल्यूट करता हूं। ये युवा हौसला आज देश को हर क्षेत्र में नई गति से आगे ले जा रहा है।
In Khelo India University Games, weightlifter Govind Sunil Mahajan won gold and Uday Anil Mahajan won silver to help Kavitri Bahinibai Chaudhary North Maharashtra University top the medal table at the end of action in Bengaluru yesterday. Maharishi Dayanand University's Komal Kohar won gold in the women's weightlifting 45 kg class. At the shooting range, Delhi University's Parth Makija topped the list with 628.6 points. It was also the first day for boxing with 48 bouts scheduled throughout the day across different weight categories. The swimming events will start today and all eyes will be on the host star attraction Olympian Srihari Nataraj.
In the Santosh Trophy football, Punjab defeated Meghalaya by a solitary goal at the Payanad Stadium in Manjeri yesterday evening. Meghalaya dominated the first half of the game, but it was Punjab who put up a better performance in the second. Though both teams were goalless at half-time, Amarpreet Singh struck in the 46th minute to place Punjab ahead. Today in Group B, services will take on Odisha at the Kottapadi Stadium at 4 p.m, while Gujarat will meet Karnataka in the second encounter at Payanad Stadium at 8 p.m. In the Indian Premier League, Lucknow Super Giants defeated Mumbai Indians by 36 runs at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai last night. Chasing a target of 169 runs, Mumbai Indians got off to a good start but kept on losing wickets at regular intervals and were restricted to 132 for 8 in 20 overs. Today, Punjab Kings will take on Chennai Super Kings at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai at 7:30 p.m.
And now let us have a look at the weather forecast for today. Jammu is expected to have mainly clear sky becoming partly towards afternoon or evening. Srinagar, the minimum temperature was 10 degrees while the maximum is expected to be around 18 degrees. Leh will have generally cloudy sky. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain. Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 19 degrees. Maximum will be around 30 degrees. The national capital Delhi will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky. Chennai again is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Kolkata, the minimum temperature was 28 degrees while the maximum will be around 39 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Covering the Prime Minister's visit to Jammu and Kashmir, Modi invites youth to participate in growth story of Kashmir is a front page headline in The Pioneer. Quoting the EU chief, the Hindustan Times headlines, will boost clean energy ties with India. With the country still on COVID alert, India logs 2,593 fresh COVID cases, 44 deaths, writes the Statesman. As a guideline towards estimates of poverty levels, after hiatus, household consumer spending survey to resume in July, informs the Hindu. With no relief in sight for Indian students enrolled in Chinese universities who are unable to go back for physical classes, in tit-for-tat move, India suspends tourist visas of Chinese nationals, writes the Statesman. And finally, in a bid to utilize water resources intelligently, banking on rain, more catchment reservoirs allow river to help ensure taps don't run dry, informs the Times of India.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of Amrit Mahotsav quiz. A small village in Orissa became popular as Sangrami Tirath after 32 freedom fighters of the village captured a British court at Sambalpur in 1942 as a part of the Quit India movement. Name the village. WhatsApp your response on 8826546262. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 7th edition of Raisina Dialogue today. 4-day Naval Commanders Conference begins today in New Delhi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to address the event. Union Agriculture Ministry to launch Kisan Bhagidari Prathmikta Hamari campaign from today. BJP sweeps Guwahati Municipal Corporation polls in Assam. Emmanuel Macron beats Marine Le Pen to secure second consecutive term as French president. Khelo India University Games get off to a grand start in Bengaluru. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says holistic approach and 100% dedication are key requirements for success in sports. Weightlifter Govind Sunil Mahajan wins gold and Uday Anil Mahajan bags silver at Khelo India University Games. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.